then I'ma get it. You know I be on the way. Yeah. You know I be on the way.
Welcome everybody to Talk is Cheap, the Fight Against Mediocrity podcast. What we're going to talk about today is why it's harder for me to spend $100 on shoes than it is for me to spend $10,000 on education. And stick around because I'm going to give you 6 of the things that you get when you invest in yourself. And the last one I'm going to share with you is actually what I believe has helped me create a multiple 6-figure business in just 10 months. Here we go. Last weekend was Father's Day. And Lauren is amazing, and she wanted me to go get some, who actually wanted me to go get some new Lulus, like either a shirt or some pants or something like that. I love Lulu. I wear a lot of Lulu. But I walked in, I'm like, I honestly do not want anything because I already have the pants I need. I already have the shirts I need. Like, I just already have what I need. Like, I don't feel like I need anything else. And it stressed me out. The thought of spending money on something I didn't need, it was really weird because I just didn't want to. And so we went actually to the van store, and my vans are a couple of years old. They work great, but sure, I could get some new ones that are cleaner and shinier. So they have this new type of van. It's like Lauren calls it the old man dad van. It's kind of like a tennis shoe. If you're watching the video, you can see this. If you're listening to the podcast, you can't. But they're really comfy. Historically, vans are no sole, and so they're very uncomfortable. They're not fun to walk around, but these ones are very comfortable. They're like $95. And I remember talking to the sales associate, and I'm like, please just sell me on these. Help me be convinced that I should get these, because ultimately the ones I have, they're a little dirty, but they work fine. And this is a mindset around money and spending money that I'll have to work through, is the stress of buying new stuff when I feel like I don't need it. Maybe not, but it was really interesting. I walked away from that thinking it's so weird. It just was so hard for me to spend that $100. I actually ended up buying 2 pairs, so $200, and it was so hard for me to spend that $200 for whatever reason. I left, and I'm like, I didn't really need those, and I wasn't stoked about it, but they're cool shoes. Anyways, then fast forward to, I believe it was Monday. I have a call set up to apply to be in a program that's $10,000. It's a year-long program for entrepreneurs to grow their business. You have to be at a certain revenue stage to qualify. And I know I applied, was accepted. And so this was my call to be like, hey, do you want to get in? When I got on the call, I'll be honest with you, I was pretty much like, yes, take my money, I want in. Because I had had the program recommended to me by someone who does multiple millions of dollars a year in a similar industry as I. And so I knew that if he recommended it, it would be something I should look into. And so based on that recommendation and knowing that I was going to invest in myself and actually grow, I did it. And so I'm going to go over the mindset around that, why it's easier for me to spend $10,000 than it is for me to spend $100 on shoes. Because ultimately, I'm jazzed about spending $10,000 because of what I'm about to share with you, the 6 things that you get when you invest in yourself. And I'm going to share a little bit of background as well as far as my history of investing in myself. When I first started in sales, I was not very good. The company that I worked for didn't really have a very good sales system or sales training. It didn't really have a sales manager to train me. And so I invested $97 into a sales program. And I remember entering my credit card and being like, 4 degrees, stand for degrees. I remember putting in my credit card and thinking, this has to be a scam. That I don't know if this is going to work. I was so scared. But I entered in my credit card and absorbed everything I could. And 2 weeks later, I'd made $2,000 in commissions from what I'd learned. Yeah, I agree, Ford. And that was my first step into being okay, there's something to this. It was the first time I invested more than the price of a book. Then I invested $397 into a sales conference. I was able to meet in person people like Bob Berg, Jeb Blunt, Anthony Anarino, Victor Antonio, in person. And so I was like, okay, this is working. So then I paid $4,000, 4 degrees, $4,000 for a couple of other events, and then $14,000, then $10,000. Then I'll share another one where I spent $17,000 on a program, and it just kept growing. And the reason I kept doing it is because of these 6 things that you get when you invest in yourself. Like these 6 things will take you places that you would have never been able to go before. And this is why I just like, even if I don't have the money, I'll invest in myself because I know I will get a return. And I'd rather spend $10,000 investing in myself than $100 on a pair of shoes. Number 1, the first thing that you get, one of the things that you get when you invest in yourself is you get to surround yourself immediately with other people who have invested in themselves. He's loving this part. You get to be around other people and invested in themselves, because ultimately, if you're just like hanging around people who don't invest in themselves, you're all going to be in the same spot. You all have the mentality of like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to get there. But when you get around people who invest in themselves, that means they value who they are. They value their mind. They value becoming better. And that's the type of person you want to surround yourself with. So it's kind of funny, but by spending money, you immediately classify yourself as someone who invests in themselves, and you want to be around that type of person. Whether that's like the leader of the program that you're joining, whether that's the people who are also in it, whether that's, just everything about that. You get to be around people with the mindset of investing in themselves. She's getting really excited about this part. So the next one is time. You literally, when you invest in yourself, you earn back time. Say you're a video editor and you want to learn how to edit videos. And you could learn it yourself on YouTube. I know, you don't want to learn it yourself, huh, Ford? You could learn it yourself on YouTube. Handed him off to Lauren. You could learn it yourself on YouTube, or you could spend $5,000 and in 12 weeks, someone that's already done it, already gone through the YouTube videos, already been there, done that, could teach it to you in 12 weeks, but at $5,000. Would you spend $5,000 and save all that time and learn in 12 weeks what it would have taken you a year or two to learn? You just gained back months and months of time. And that goes for the same in anything. Like whatever it is that you're doing, when you invest in yourself, don't think of it as money going out. Think of it as time being added to your life, because you get to enjoy knowledge faster. Sure, you could learn it on your own. Sure, you could read the book and get it on your own. Sure, you could try to go find someone for free and ask them, or you could just spend the money and basically pull forward time to the present. And so why would you not invest in yourself to literally take years and pull them to the present? Enjoy what you would have in a year or two from now and pull it to the present for money. Money comes and goes. Time does not. And so that's why it's so important to invest in yourself, because you literally multiply the time that you have to enjoy the knowledge that you get from investing in yourself. So that's number 2. The next one is obviously knowledge. When you invest in yourself, you grow a lot. And Warren Buffett always says the best investment you can make is in your mind, because no one can tax it and no one can take it away. This pair of shoes for $100 is not going to get me any closer to my goals. It's not. It's not going to get me closer. It's not going to help me make more money. It's not going to improve my mindset. It's going to make me feel good and walk better, but it's not going to help me get closer to my goals. But when you invest in yourself, you get knowledge that literally helps you get to your goals faster. And no one can tax it and no one can take it away. The government can't come and take 30% of it, 36% of it. Nobody can come. Someone could come and steal my shoes on the street. Someone could come and steal my house. Someone could steal my car. Someone could steal this computer and everything that I have, but they cannot steal the knowledge that I have from investing in myself. So the money that you spend investing in yourself will never be taken away from you. Number 4, the next one, what you get when you invest in yourself, when you pay to invest in yourself, is a community of like-minded people. And so this is a little different than just people in general. You get a community and a support system, people who have your back. Inside of my community, the Fight Against Mediocrity, it was really cool. One of the members said someone called him and he thought it was a sales call. So it's like, oh, this is a sales call, whatever. And then the person on the other line says, oh, by the way, I just joined Kevin's program. And he's like, my attitude's flipped. I was like, oh, you're one of us. You're part of the community. What can I do for you? How can I help you? I'm here to support you. And just switched his total attitude. That's because when you join something, when you show that you're willing to invest in yourself, you join a community of like-minded people who support you, who are there to help you, who are there to help you grow. It's really cool. The different communities that I've been able to join, you immediately become friends because you're a part of something similar, and they're willing to share whatever you want, whatever like you want to learn from them. They're willing to share it because you're a part of the same community. Something that you would never have been able to ask them before now becomes a common conversation that you have. What are you doing in your business? What are you doing here? How do you do this? Will you do this? Will you help this person for me? The money that you spend on investing in yourself in different programs or mastermind or whatever, I think the community is the biggest part. So if you're investing in something and they don't have a community, I would probably pass it up and go find something that does have a community, because the knowledge might keep you there for the period of time that the program lasts, but the community is what's going to keep you there for life. So that is number 4. The next one that you get when you invest in yourself is collaboration. Inevitably, when you join something and you share what you do, people want to do business with other people that are like-minded. And so I've seen this in my community. People will join my program, and within the first week, they'll make their money back because other people in the program buy their products and services. So you get to collaborate. Maybe, and other people have done deals together or said, hey, I have this skill, you have this skill, let's partner. We're in the same community, let's partner together. You get to collaborate. One of the cool things that I was able to collaborate on is I bought a diamond ticket to the 10X Growth Con. It's a $10,000 ticket. And because I was there at one of the parties, I asked, or actually my friend who was there, Travis, was like, hey, you should get Jared Glant on your podcast, and actually, presented me to Jared and was like, hey, you should be on his podcast. So I was very grateful for that. I was able to have Jared Glant on my podcast. He runs a $150 million education company similar to what I'm doing, and he was on my podcast. He doesn't do them very often, but he said because I was a part of their community, because I'd paid to be there, he was willing to do that. And so if I would have no matter what I would have done, if I would have gone to their office and whatever, he just says, hey, did you spend money with us? Are you supporting us? Oh, cool. Then yeah, I'll do it. And I see that a common theme of when you spend money and invest in yourself, the people in that community are more likely to invest back in you because you've shown them hey, I'm willing to invest in myself, versus others who are just kind of mooching around and just trying to get information for free. There's just not as much of a willingness, I think, because it's more of a take than a give and take. Because money is not yours. Money moves around. You might have it in your possession for a little bit, but eventually it's just going to go to something else, because money is useless unless it is used, unless it's invested, spent. If it's just sitting in the bank, it's really useless. And number 6, the next one, what you get when you invest in yourself is an increased mindset. And I first experienced this, I've told this story before, when I was a professional unicyclist. I know it sounds really funny. Google my name on YouTube and watch some of the videos. There's one that has over 2 million views. It's called Unicycle Freestyle by Devin Supertramp. When I was unicycling for 4 years, I was stuck. I could not get to the next trick. I could not land the next trick that I wanted to. And then I went to the national championships in North Dakota or South Dakota. Yes, there is such a thing. And I was surrounded by the world's best unicyclists. And a year from that date, I went from no one knew me, I couldn't land a single trick, to being able to land over 100 tricks, and 2 years later placing 5th in street in North America. Now, stuck for 4 years, 2 years later, 5th in street in North America. 2 years after that, 4th in street in the world and 2nd in America. What changed? It was my mindset. It was being around people who were doing the tricks that I wanted to do, seeing them and believing that I could do it too. When you invest in yourself, you get around a community and you see things that you would have not have seen or learned before, and you're able to improve your mindset, which automatically allows you to do more. So ultimately, besides the knowledge you get so many more things when you invest in yourself. You get people, you get time, you get knowledge, you get community, you get collaboration, and you get a mindset. So if you're thinking it's easier for me to spend $100 on shoes than it is spend $10,000 on a program. Like, I hope this was able to rewire your mindset a little bit, and hopefully you'll be a little more free with your money when you're looking to invest in yourself. Ultimately, even if you invest in yourself and it was like a scam or a bad investment, at least you did something. And I know that sounds weird, like, well, Kevin, I wouldn't want to waste my money or do a scam or anything, but then you learn. I mean, you're always learning, you're always growing. It's always better to invest in yourself because nobody can tax it and nobody can take it away. The one thing I would recommend when you're looking for what to invest in or who to invest in is, like, I wouldn't invest in something or someone if you wouldn't trade spots with them. So look for people who have communities with like-minded people who believe what you believe, and look for someone who you admire, their character, their attributes, what they do, how they act, because ultimately you're going to become who you spend time with. So when I first started my business, and it was September 1st of 2021. So like 10 months ago or something. I didn't know what to do. I knew kind of what I wanted to do, but I didn't know how to do it. I'd seen people do it because I invested in myself, but I didn't know how to do it. So what I did is I went and found someone who knew how to do it. If you ask me who, it's like, okay, were they the best ones? Were they the only ones? No, there's lots of people who could have probably taught me, but this is the one that I chose. And the program was $17,000 for 16 weeks. And I remember I was all in because I'm like, okay, if I spend $17,000 and they can take what would have maybe taken me a year or two to learn and they can speed it up to 16 weeks, it's like, yeah, I would do it. That's a no-brainer. And I remember bringing in my wife. I'm like, I had the salesperson on the phone. I'm like, hey, it's $17,000. Can we do it? And she was already scared that I'd quit my job, nervous about this investment, but we ended up doing it. And I made the money back, I think, in like 2.5 months. From what I had invested, and now it's just multiplied over and over and over again. And so when people get nervous about investing in themselves, I get kind of confused because I spent $17,000 and I built a multiple 6-figure business in 10 months. Is it 10 months? July, August, 10 months. And I know I would not be where I am if I wouldn't have invested $17,000 up front. But so many people, when I get on calls, and I'm probably just need to be better at how I explain things. I take full responsibility for anyone who doesn't buy. But a lot of people will say, well, I want to earn the money and then pay for it. And I think if I would have said that, I would still be trying to earn the money in my business. So instead of trying to do it on your own, just have someone teach you who's already done it. I promise you it'll work out. I promise you it'll end up being better in the end. Just make sure you find someone who you trust, and I promise you, you'll be able to exponentially grow faster than you would have on your own. Thanks again for listening to this podcast. You guys are incredible. Have a fabulous day. We'll catch you on the next one.
Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on a what? Yeah. You know I be on a what? Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on a what? Yeah. It's all hard, ain't no fear here. You ain't giving this to all you still.